Hello, lovely Love Advice community. Coach Adrian here for our weekly live today, Friday, August 2nd. I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to do this live for you. And in today's live video, we are going to be talking about long distance breakups, and also a little bit about rebound relationships. So, like I said in last week's live, I will be doing videos centered around your comments. And the comment by Skitty Kitten was centered around long distance exes and long distance exes who are in rebound relationships, specifically with an old friend. So I loved the question, and I'm going to open it up to long distance breakups in general, because quite a few people have been booking coaching sessions after a long distance breakup. And I know that a lot of you on Love Advice TV were in long distance relationships. And I wanted to make sure that I provided you with content on this topic. If you have questions for me, and even if you're not in a long distance relationship or a long distance breakup, I will, of course, answer them at the end of my video. So just wanted to give you a few pointers if you're in this specific scenario. And if you have questions, please, at the end, we'll have a short Q&A, and I'll make sure to try to provide you with some guidance. So hello, Alana. Hello, Yumi. Hello, Jeremiah. Hello, Glenn. Hello, Lena. Hello, November. Hello, Doris. Hello, Soso. Hello, Ali. Hello, all of you. And again, you guys give us purpose. You fuel our fire. Thank you for tuning in live. Thank you, Anna Maria, and thank you, African Rose. It is thanks to amazing people like you that we get to do what we love and what our passion and our calling is. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for tuning and for giving us purpose, like I always say in my videos. So Skinny Kitten asked in the comment section of my last YouTube live about long distance breakups. And it's a topic that is very, very dear to me, because I was in a long distance relationship and in a long distance breakup. And I know how difficult it can be after a breakup. You feel isolated. There's no direct contact. Sometimes you cannot just go and pop in and see your ex. And the tendency is everything is harder in some sense when you're going through a long distance breakup, because the fears get bigger, the isolation is sometimes stronger, and many times you feel powerless. But the reality of it is that you are not powerless. And I was fortunate enough to be able to bounce back and to get back together with the person that is now my wife, and we have 2 children together. And I couldn't be happier, and I've learned lessons along the way that I wanted to share with you in order to make your life a little bit easier, so that you don't make the mistakes perhaps that I did. And it's not going to say that this process is going to be seamless. It will be challenging, but you can make your life a little bit easier with some of the tips and tools that I've learned along the way. And we were broken up for a year and a half. We were separated for 1.5 years. So, first and foremost, you have to keep things in perspective, especially when you're going through a long distance breakup. And a lot of times in these comment sections, people seem to give up, to no longer have hope, because they've been separated for 6 months, 7 months. And I'm here to tell you that, sometimes it takes time, and it took a year and a half, especially when you're at a distance, and especially when you don't either have a communication platform, or you can't see the person, you don't have the opportunity to meet up with this person, as we're going to discuss in this video. So the first tip that I have for you, if you are in a long distance breakup, is to make sure that you deal with your fears adequately, with distance, and with your fears and your insecurities. And a lot of times when you're in a long distance breakup, you don't know how to do that, or you're more tempted to just blow up your ex through WhatsApp or Facebook or whatever social media platform you use. And you cannot make that mistake. You cannot make that mistake, because if you come off as desperate and needy, sometimes it's a lot more difficult to um, change the way, the perception that your ex has of you, and they're going to tune you out or kind of shut you out just to not deal with the drama. Important to avoid the common mistakes and to not try to change your ex's mind, to not fly to see your ex on a whim to try to salvage the relationship, and to really try to take a step back and analyze what went wrong and why, and to make sure that you stop doing the mistakes that led to the breakup in the first place. If you were controlling and needy and kept wanting to talk to your significant other every night, asking them who they're with, not letting them hang out with certain people, make sure that you stop doing that after the breakup. Because if you continue to be the person that they broke up with, you're going to keep digging yourself in a bigger and bigger hole. And it's an identity crisis. And it's an opportunity for you to start to focus on the things that can actually help you become your higher, better self. That means being social. It means reconnecting with old friends. It means giving your ex space and not trying to basically cut corners to rebuild the relationship, very quickly. And if you are in a long distance relationship, it means that you are a committed individual, because long distance relationships are hard. People that have not been in long distance relationships perhaps can't relate, but those that have understand the sacrifices that come with that. It means sometimes coming home and reaching out to your significant other at crazy hours of the day or night. It means passing up on intimacy. It means sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term happiness constantly. And so, in essence, you already have the tools and what it takes to go through a breakup recovery process, right? People that are living together or that are in short-term relationships perhaps are not used to or have not been trained to make the sacrifices and the compromises that come with with the process of being in a healthy relationship. And if you've made those sacrifices before, during the relationship, you surely can do it too after the breakup has occurred. So, in essence, it's important for you to take your quality traits and attributes and leverage those throughout your long-term breakup recovery process, and turn perhaps what is seen as a disadvantage, being the distance, into something that can play favorably for you based on what you do well. And so the specific question by Skitty Kitten, I believe it was when you're in a long distance breakup and your ex is dating a rebound and someone that they know, a friend. So there's many components here. If you're in a long distance breakup and your ex is in a rebound relationship, don't despair. Most of the time when this happens, it's been building up for some time, and your ex already had their sights or created an emotional connection with this other person, and it's going to be very difficult for you to change their mind right away. All right, you need to focus on taking a step back and maximizing your attraction power by rebuilding your confidence and being social again, and leveraging social media to your advantage, so that in time, when they burst out of their bubble and realize that they're not happier in this relationship and that you have a lot to offer, it's easier to rebuild the bridge. So rebound relationships are quite common. You're not at a bigger or greater disadvantage because you're in a long distance relationship. Rebound relationships happen because most people don't know how to be single, or because that's how they basically stomach the confidence to let go of the relationship, because they feel like they have something else to hang on to. Don't compare yourself to this new person, and don't try to fight for their attention. Give them space and show them that you can be happy without them, that you can also reinvent yourself, and that you're not desperate. And so if your ex is in a rebound relationship, even if it's with someone that they've known for a very, very long time, don't lose hope. Have a long-term approach and be patient. Patience is one of the most important virtues when you are in a long-term or long-distance breakup, and I can't stress that enough. And so the key, as always, is going to be centered around personal transformation, patience, and making sure that you leverage social media to your advantage in order to start to reshape the way that your ex sees you. And if you were too controlling and really too needy, the best way to showcase your change is to show them that you can let them be in their new relationship. If you were too distant, if you perhaps got broken up with because your significant other felt that you weren't invested enough, you have to use your common sense. And perhaps you're going to want to reach out to your significant other on a regular basis, but without being needy and desperate, trying to reestablish a friendly platform. And most importantly, you need to understand that you cannot fight this battle alone. It can't be just you chasing them, trying to prove to them that you are worthy of their love, especially if they're in a rebound relationship. It's not going to work out. You're going to put them on a pedestal. You're going to come off as desperate, and it's not going to work to your favor. So you need to make sure that you keep yourself accountable and that you have friends and people, good people that you can lean on, that will show you a good time, that with whom you can be yourself, and that will help you stay accountable to the goals that you will have set. Ultimately, it's very important for you to have the right communication strategy. When you're in a long distance breakup, the right communication strategy is key. Sometimes you can't apply that communication strategy right away, but knowing when to rebuild the bridge, how to reach out to your significant other, how to make sure that you maximize your attraction power from a distance is key. And this is where we come in, and this is where I highly encourage that you reach out to us in order to work together to establish that communication strategy through a private coaching session when you feel ready to do that. Some people understand this using their instincts, and as they start to gain perspective after a breakup, they start to not let their emotions overpower their intelligence anymore, and they can put that in place organically because you have it in you. You've done it once before. A lot of times when people are in a long distance relationship, they started dating at a distance, or they're used to dating long distance. It's not their first rodeo. So you have it in you. The difference or the challenge is that quite often your feelings and your emotions, your despair, your fears of losing this person start to cloud your judgment, and you make common mistakes that you wouldn't let your friends make. But because it's happening to you, because it becomes so difficult and so just so challenging to deal with the uncertainty of if you're ever going to be able to be in each other's lives again or whatnot, that's where the challenge comes in. And this is where we come in, and why private coaching sessions are the best investment that you can make, because it enables us to give you that tailored advice that you need to ultimately make sure that you seize every opportunity that you get. And like I said, and like I always say, it's about having no regrets. It's about having no regrets and making sure that you grow, that you learn from your mistakes, and that you actually do have something new to offer to your significant other when you do get back together. Because the worst thing that I see is when people are doing hard work to get back together, and when they do get back together, they break up again because they didn't lay the right foundations. And so the last tidbit that I wanted to leave you with when it comes to long distance relationship is that you should not expect to get back together until you have an opportunity to meet up again. If you don't see this person face to face, even if you start talking with them, etc., it's very difficult. You will have a very, very hard time getting back together unless and until you're able to meet up again. And you have to do so without coming off as desperate or needy or pushy. Sometimes it's easy because perhaps your family or their family lives in your town, and so there's this organic opportunity to do so. Other times it's more challenging because you have no ties to where they live, or they have no ties to where you live, and you have to get creative. And oftentimes that's when you have to make sure that your communication strategy is right, so that the opportunity to meet up is organic and it doesn't you're not falling back into those same dynamic that may have occurred after the breakup when you were pushy and needy. And if you don't know how to do that, again, work with us. This is what we do. This is basically literally what we specialize in. And and I would love to again continue to leverage my personal experience and what I've seen with others to ultimately be able to help you too. So, as promised, I've said that we were going to do Q&As, and we're going to do that now. So, if you have questions for me, if you want me to be able to kind of give you, my quick guidance in regards to your situation, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and I'm going to do my best to address your issues. Soso20 says, what do you do if you're blocked? If he has blocked you? Okay, so if you're blocked, it probably means that you've made quite a few mistakes. You've probably been needy and desperate, and the last thing that you want to do is to continue to hammer or heckle your ex. So take a step back and work on regaining your confidence, and create. You need to put your ex kind of on the defensive. They need to be curious. They need to know why you're not reaching out, why you're moving forward. How is it that you have a smile on your face? And how is it that you're living your life and moving forward without them before trying to get unblocked? Okay? In a nutshell, that's the best advice that I can give you. Obviously, if we work together, perhaps we can see if there are other avenues. But usually when someone is blocked, it means that your ex doesn't want to communicate. And so I urge you to take a step back. Rich D says, what if she still carries anger? Okay, most exes will carry anger because they're hurt. And the best thing that you can do is to, number one, understand why she is angry. Understand why your ex is angry. Identify perhaps the actions and behaviors that have led your ex to be angry. And make sure that you start to build habits and work on different values that can ensure that you're not going to trigger your ex moving forward. Ultimately, we have a formula to rebuild trust that I would love to basically work on with you to help you apply this formula. But again, as always, it starts with you, number one, understanding your ex and understanding the breakup from their point of view. Number two, being able to identify the mistakes that you've made and turning this into an opportunity to better yourself and to create better habits that can help you become the partner that they wish you would have been. And number three, it's also about empathizing and making sure that you don't make this about you, that you let that person be ready. Don't try to force the reconnection, okay? If the boyfriend is married and flirt, Nazia says, look, if someone is married, I think that you should take a step back. I don't think that it's wise to pursue someone that is married, especially if you have no history with them. Will I be sad or happy if I can't make them come back? Ultimately, it's about personal transformation. It's not about them. And your happiness cannot depend on your ultimate success of whether you get back together or not. A lot of people don't understand that, but that's the whole premise of our philosophy. First, you need to work on yourself and find your well-being and happiness in order to maximize your chances of success. And ultimately, your happiness cannot depend on your relationship status with your ex. Otherwise, you will either never get them back or you're going to keep breaking up with them because you're going to put way too much burden on them. Okay, so Evan says that that their ex started talking again, but they're having trouble meeting up because she doesn't want to give you false hope. Fantastic. That's a great question. A lot of exes talk about this not wanting to give you false hope. And all that they're trying to do in reality is to not box themselves in. They're trying to have it both ways. They clearly want you in their lives, and at the same time, they're afraid to get back to a place where they're unhappy. And in those types of situations, the best is for you to lower expectations and almost to try to friend zone yourself. And what I mean by that is, don't try to flirt, don't try to seduce. It might put too much pressure on your significant other at this stage. Instead, look to rebuild trust, and you need to be able to become a confidant of sorts to your significant other. Don't push to see each other. Don't come off too desperate or thirsty. It's only going to lower your attraction power, and they're going to be basically on their guard. Again, you have to, think a few steps ahead, and instead showcase that, you are happy just interacting the way that you are now, that you don't need more. And oftentimes that is enough to get your ex to start to pursue you. They're going to want more validation. And, in a nutshell, use a little bit of reverse psychology here, but do so from a place of, being true to yourself and being healthy, actually being okay and engaging in this reseduction process the right way. Enjoy the chase. It's like as if you had never dated before and you're trying to attract this person once again. Okay, if she refuses to reply, if she behaves in an aggressive way and rude after a couple of months of breakup, what does that mean? What is the solution? Munoir says, Munoir, you're being way too aggressive in your pursuit, quite simply. You're trying to rebuild a communication strategy or a communication platform, at the wrong time. She's not ready and you haven't changed enough. You must have done a lot of mistakes and you're coming off as desperate, and I urge you to take a step back. Whether you're in a long distance relationship or not, it should not be so contentious. This needs to be organic. We're talking about a relationship. We're talking about intimacy. You cannot force your way into someone else's life. And so you need to be more patient and you need to take a step back. How much time is too much time apart before I should give up hope of being together again? Linda says. That's a fantastic question, Linda. And I refer you back to the live that I did last Friday, on when to give up, when to move on. It's not so much a question of time as much as it is a question of your personal growth and your ability to reestablish a communication platform. It took me a year and a half to get back with the person that is now my wife. A year and a half. So looking at just, time is relative. A lot of it depends on what you do with that time, how you are growing, and your ability to reestablish a healthy communication platform. Ultimately, it's about not having regrets. And I don't want you to have false hope. I don't want you to wait around forever. You need to be with someone who wants to be with you too. But the reality is that you're super eager to make things right. You want it to happen today. And a lot of times it takes time and effort. And you need to be able to reinvent yourself and to reestablish a healthy dialogue with your significant other. And that can take more time than you would want. So stop looking at the end goal of getting back together and focus on the process, on the day-to-day process of personal transformation. It's the best way to accelerate this process and to ultimately get back with the one you love. Okay, questions keep flying in. Does no contact work on long distance relationship since my ex has someone new in his life now? Yumi asks. Yes, no contact can work on long distance breakup recoveries. The most important thing is that you use the no contact the right way and at the right time. Okay? If you are already on speaking terms, even if they're seeing someone else, if you've avoided the common mistakes, for example, and your ex keeps reaching out to you, perhaps no contact is useless. Perhaps you're already way further along in your breakup recovery process, and other things can be put in place. If you've made a lot of mistakes, if you've been desperate and needy, and your ex threatened to block you, perhaps no contact is a fantastic idea, even if you're long distance. So we have all these tools that you can use. If you've watched our videos, you've probably heard of countless different tools that you can use. The most important is that you apply them to your situation. Be wary, be careful when, if someone tells you that you can just use this one approach, this one strategy, no matter what, and that it's going to work, like no contact for X amount of days. It's not true. You have to use your head, and you have to contextualize the advice based on what you are going through. Okay? So, very important for you to remember that. Okay, Dark Raven 20 says, what if my long distance ex blocked me after we promised to keep in touch every month and a half? So the problem with such promises is that it becomes burdensome. When you force someone to keep in touch, or when you make these promises with an ex, there's no organic attraction there. It becomes a chore. It's like checking in every day or every weekend when you're in a long distance relationship. It takes the fun and the organic attraction out of the dynamic. And you probably thought of that. Even if you've established ground rules, after a breakup, all bets are off. Your ex is not going to continue to respect the rules that you've set, and you should not expect them to. Take a step back again, and it's okay. It's for a reason. Continue to grow along the way. Long distance, it's going to take time if you're blocked, and you need to embrace that and continue to focus on you. Okay, does letter work if we were broken up twice and in a long distance relationship? Andres de la Fuente, very good question. Our letters do work when they're applied. Again, it's a tool when applied the right way. If you need to write you need to write the right kind of letter, and you need to send it at the right time. If you broke up twice, it means that there's probably a lot of passion. And ultimately, if you have truly changed, if you're able to empathize and to validate your ex's feelings and emotions, a letter can be a very powerful way to rebuild the bridge and to get a clean slate if you have done the work. And, I've seen so many people criticize our letters. And the reality of it is that the people that criticize our letters have no idea how to write an efficient letter, or have not seen this tool applied the right way. It's not a magic solution that's supposed to wipe out all of the issues that have taken place in your relationship. It is a tool to showcase change and to rebuild communication the right way. Okay? There's a book called I Hear You by Nicholas Sorensen that I've recommended to quite a few people in my coaching sessions. The book is amazing, and I recommend that you check out this book before you write your letter to your ex so that you approach it the right way. This is a very valuable tip that I've just given you. Does your audio seminar someone else applies for long distance relationship as well? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, I see it as gaining knowledge. All of these different audio seminars that we put together are masterclass. All of them are just like our videos. It is a way for you to gain more knowledge and insights in order for you to maximize your chances of success, right? You don't regret learning more in these types of situations, and absolutely, I recommend that you check that out. I'm going to take a couple more questions, and then that's it, because I have a coaching session. Am I wasting my time? CC asks, if my ex is dating someone else without breaking up with me and done radio science for 2+ months. No, you're not wasting your time if you still feel like you want to make it work, and if you feel like you guys can be happy together. Obviously, I don't recommend that you put your life on hold and wait for them to break up. You have to continue to move forward. But if you have strong feelings for someone, even if they're dating someone else, just make sure that you continue to grow so that you have something new to offer, and so that you can inspire them the right way. So, what did your ex want from you to get back together? Is another question. I don't think that my ex wanted anything more than trust and security, and making sure that in some ways that I had matured emotionally. And I have no issues talking about my personal relationship and my love journey, because I think that it's relevant, and you guys have the right to know. But I think, quite honestly, I was too immature in many ways, and I started to place my well-being and happiness on my ex's shoulder, as if it was her responsibility to make me happy, when the truth of the matter is that it was always my responsibility to make myself happy, and my relationship could not flourish as a result. And I needed to learn that and to apply that in my day to day. And it's one of the pillars of our philosophy today. What I try to help people overcome in private coaching sessions each and every day. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Again, thank you for all your comments, for the engagement, for the kind words, for all the love that you give. You guys really, truly make us happy. And again, next Friday, I will be on again at this time doing a live. You tell me in the comments section what you want me to address. If it is a topic that is broad enough to help a bunch of people, if your question is pertinent, I will be sure to address it, and then we will do another Q&A. So come prepared. If you've enjoyed this YouTube live, like it, fuel my fire, continue to leave your comments. I read them, and I'm going to go back to this video to make sure that that I pick a question that is pertinent to a lot of people. Again, thank you for your kind words from Portugal, from India, from all over the world. You guys are connected, and really, truly, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have a coaching session. I have to let you go. But as always, keep fighting the good fight, and see you next Friday at this time. Take good care, and see you soon, lovely people.